Hello, it's the Friday Talkie, and yay, longer Friday Talkie. They've given us 15 minutes to play with. Can you stand me boring you for that long? Okay, unlike last week, I actually have plenty to say this week, which is cool. First off, I would like to say thank you to everyone who showed up in my chat, webcast, webcam, chat room, blah, you know, that thing I sat in and went blah 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 and couldn't keep up with you all. I was gobsmacked. I'd run the room a couple of times just putting up text announcements to say I was in there, and a few people had showed up, and I thought that's how it was going to be. So then I did a video announcement saying I'd got the room open, and you all came piling in. And I was like, I can't keep up. But it was fantastic fun. I do apologise if any of you asked questions and I didn't answer. It was just like the text stream coming up my screen was just like whoosh, 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 and obviously I missed some questions. But what fun! I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I will absolutely be doing that again, almost certainly this Saturday, probably at 2 o'clock. I will on occasion try and open the room up at an earlier hour, for those of you who aren't night owls or do have to get up in the morning or something like that. But thank you all for showing up and being such damn good fun, because I had a blast. Okay, I want to say a big thank you to Dino the Legend 87, who sent me a whole load of games which I got yesterday, that they arrived yesterday, and I've been playing them. Awesome. Getting my ass kicked by ninjas and eaten by giant eels. I have been having a lot of fun. I will PM you, Dino, this evening, I think. I had this idea last week, and then when I actually came to record the video, I forgot what it was I was going to say. Progression of video games from the early days, 8-bit days, through to where we are now. Now, everyone's aware of the advancements in gameplay and graphics, but there is an aspect that gets forgotten that I find quite amusing, because I've been coming across it while doing the C16 and to a lesser extent the CPC games, and that is manuals. And certainly while I was rummaging through my C64 and Spectrum manuals as well. It used to be, you could buy an 8-bit game, and I mean this is only a few, where you would have a manual that thick, you know, huge, big, detailed manual that would explain the 1,000,001 controls. And fair enough, if you've got 1,000,001 controls, you need proper, good instructions. But also a huge big storyline and a section explaining what those abstract blocks on your screen represented. And this was the thing, some early 8-bit games were not far different from board games in that you really had to use your imagination because it was completely abstract. That square represented your massed forces of doom, while that circle over there represented, I don't know, a herd of camels, whatever. And so you could be looking at the screen and not a bloody clue what was going on. It was just a bunch of obscure shapes moving around for no apparent reason. That's maybe an extreme example, and I mean, Space Gar on Classic Game Room comes to mind. Retro gaming, old 8-bit games really were that obscure. You needed this massive manual to give you a whole load of backstory and everything. But how it actually felt was you were kind of being ripped off, because almost all of the game was in your head. There really wasn't a game there. It was just a couple of obscure objects moving around on the screen, not really doing anything. A game does come to mind, a specific game, which I can't remember the name of. I think it's called Ace. It's a flight simulator. I've got it on the Acorn Electron. I think I've also got it on the C16. I didn't even bother trying to record it. I know on the Electron the manual for this flight simulator, or was it a Phantom simulator? Either way, the manual was really thick, really complicated, very, very steep learning curve. And you would sit there for an hour reading what all the controls were and how to navigate. Navigation was really a big problem as well, and how to just keep the plane in the air without stalling. All of that, very, very detailed, and on the screen you just had a horizontal line, a few scrolling numbers, like dials, and if you were lucky enough to get in range of the enemy planes, you just had a little V that was like just, it didn't get any bigger as you got closer or anything. It was just a little V-shaped thing, and you would fire at it and it either disappeared or it didn't, or you inexplicably died. So you got that was like old style instructions, manuals, paperwork making up for lack of gameplay, really. And then you look at games now, you've got massive virtual worlds, sandbox games. I mean, Grand Theft Auto, you've got a whole city there, interactive, you know, people, buildings, you name it, cars, complex storylines, complex controls. Manual? I never read it. I've never taken, for Grand Theft Auto 4, I have never taken the manual out of the case. On San Andreas, I actually took the manual out, read it, found it to be completely useless, didn't learn anything from it, never took it out again. So you can now, because of the way resources on systems are so much, well, more massive really, more memory, more everything, the whole learning process has been built into the game instead of put in the manual. You know, manuals now redundant, you just don't need them. Which I really, really like, because really wading through a huge big load of instructions for an hour to be faced with a little white V on a black background is pretty piss poor. Yeah, so I felt like waffling about that because it had been on my mind a little bit recently. Massive progression, probably not really recognised enough. Okay, moving on. Right, this is going to be a very short, very brief, not very accurate, and probably not really answering all of the questions, response to Equilibrium Gaming's setup, video gaming setup tag thing. First question, what equipment do you use to produce your gameplay vlog videos? Moving into the other room briefly, onto a different camera as well, so we're going to lose the widescreen for a moment. Right, this basically is how I do it. Whoa, excuse me while I trip over. TV there, assorted consoles, PS3, Dreamcast, Xbox, all random, obviously, stuff everywhere. CPC is just here. Telly there, and pointing at it, I have this. On a tripod, this is my Panasonic Lumix FZ50. Which is an incredibly cool camera. I don't think they make them anymore, but I could be wrong. It allows me to lock the focus. I don't have to rely on autofocus. So I zoom it in so that the TV fills the frame. And hit record, really. Right, back to widescreen. What editing tools do you use to produce your great, I don't know about that, gaming and vlog videos? I've used a few. I can't even remember what my favourite one was. It was the one I used about 3 different software variations ago. Yes, it was something that came on the cover of a magazine, but it didn't work in widescreen, so I had to ditch that in the end, because widescreen's just so much cooler. Then I used Kden Live on Linux, which, if it had worked properly, would have been great, but it didn't. It was completely crash happy, and the audio just kept going out of sync, so it pissed me off far too much, and I stopped using that. I'm now using Sony Vegas Pro 9, which is very nice. I don't entirely like it. It does a lot of things that are very cool, and it doesn't do some things that I used to do on my original piece of software. It's just some things are really awkward, titling and stuff like that. I haven't really figured out yet. Yeah. How much time is spent making a video before uploading to YouTube? It depends on the video, really. This one is probably going to be 3 hours. A normal gameplay video, just the time it takes to record it, which is like 10 minutes, and then another 15 minutes editing the credits at either end, and then maybe half an hour compressing it before I upload. So, you know, not ever so long. Which gaming system do you use the most for your gameplay videos? All of them. Useful hardware, software, equipment recommendations? No, none really. I mean, I know loads of people prefer proper capture devices for doing gameplay footage, but and I have one, I've got an easy cap thing, but it just doesn't suit the way I work because I want to talk live. I don't want to have to record my voiceover separately either at the time or after and then edit it all in. No, can't be bothered with that. So you know, hence the inferior video quality, but too bad. No recommendations at all. I mean, I do a shoddy job in terms of production values. My channel is like through the floorboards. It's cheap as chips, basic. What I've got is what I use. So no, I'm certainly not going to recommend any kind of hardware or whatever. Okay, cool. Moving on then. It's shout-out time, and I owe a debt of thanks to Austin McCurt, who pointed out this channel to me, and I've been sitting and enjoying the videos here for a few days. This is Nicened Games. What has he got? It's gameplay videos with voiceovers, reviews. What do you call it? I think they're reviews, aren't they? But he plays and talks at the same time, and you know I like that kind of thing. TI Invaders, he did a really good job of playing that and showed the game off far better than I did on my attempt to play that game. Some Nintendo games there, Xbox 360 game there, I haven't actually watched that one. A good variety of games on different systems. Hang on, GP, that was very interesting because I didn't know anything about that. That's on the Sega Saturn. What I really like about this channel is, and I say this about quite a few channels, the ones that I like really, it's as much about the person as what they're playing. I like his manner. He's very calm, very laid back, very relaxed, and friendly sounding and intelligent sounding. And if I was to compare him to someone who you will all be familiar with, it would be Atari Leaf. The accent is different, but the style is similar. He's got that warm, welcoming, friendly approach. Yeah, just really, really enjoyable videos. Thoroughly recommended. Nicened Games. Check him out, see what you think. Obviously I subscribed, you know, I took one look, watched a couple of, I watched a couple of videos and that was it. I subscribed. Definitely worth a look. Okay, I'm going to put up a brief annotation now just before I go. If you're watching this like months down the line and there isn't one, it's because it's no longer relevant and I removed it. But please have a look at that, respond to it if you can. If it's not there, ignore me because I'm just going blah. Okay, hopefully I will be putting up an announcement tomorrow regarding chat room, broadcast, live thing, blah. Yes, thank you for watching. If I can edit all of this and make it fit into 15 minutes, something. Yeah, ta-ra. This and videos of other retro games in my collection and a video of my console and computer collection can be found on my YouTube channel, along with a link to my website retrogamingcollector.com, so take a look at that if you've got nothing better to do. Thank you for watching.